Hey all, over here, and the next stop in our Bulgarian adventure is Plovdiv. I hope you like the video and check the whole adventure out. Thank you very much. So, Dimana, tell us where we are.
We are in, I guess, the biggest square in Plovdiv. Look at that. You can see this is the old post. Yeah, post.
Yeah, it's the post office.
Yeah.
Posta.
Post. Telephone, which means telephone.
Yeah.
This is the villager club. So yeah, people needed to go there
To call.
to call.
Yeah, back in the days. These were the times. Not like right now with all these freaking smartphones and Facebook, huh? Yeah. People now take all that for granted. And after crossing the square, we were able to see the ruins of ancient Plovdiv, or Philippopolis, as it was known back then. So there gonna be more pillars.
Yeah, I mean, that looks like they're trying to make pillars. But
True.
these are authentic, I think.
Looks like it.
Because we have the same in Sofia, and they are authentic.
So we're at the main shopping street. I wish they were able to preserve the authenticity of buildings as much as possible. But anyway, beautiful. Okay, let's see. It's like a municipality or something.
I believe so.
Nice. So what does Plovdiv actually mean?
Well, according to some script, it means Plovdiv, which means, what does it mean?
Which means what?
What is this?
Plodingrad.
Yeah, which means
Plodonosengrad.
yeah, it gives
So
fruit.
yes, it's good for harvest and shit. Yeah.
He was like sitting here all day, and he had these huge ears.
Yeah, pretty big.
People really loved him and stuff.
Oh,
Super nice dude.
so he got the monument.
He was always sitting there.
Well,
If you like whisper your wish to the ear of Milo,
yeah.
it will become true.
Well, I think you would understand that after hearing that, you would see me filming 12 hours straight of me just saying wishes in the ear of that statue. However, Dimi stopped me from doing that, saying that only one wish is applicable, so that saved us and we continued our journey.
This is just to check out the thing that we saw.
Yeah, the stadium. Nice. So people were walking this out to get an arena. After bidding farewell to my new cat friend, we continued to Jumaya Park. Like famous Bulgarians?
Yeah, and riders.
Riders.
And it's all for, of course, the liberation. Like you can see, we have a lot of emphasis on that. But
Yeah, no, for sure. Makes total sense. It's a proud moment in history. And so we moved on first to see the Plovdivska Metropolia and then moving into the old town of Plovdiv.
century? No, 19th century, so 18,000s.
Beautiful. Nice house.
So we'll see a lot of this when we go to the old town. And this is new
Can we enter? I like how it combines the drawings with also some of the things as well.
And then Old Town. We do that one.
Oh, so that's all done.
Yeah. Are we gonna go after?
Okay. That's some more context to what you've just heard and seen. There was a wedding in the old town on that day. And I really had to resist the temptation to start dancing to this traditional Balkan music, as we had quite a road to cover. Our next stop was the ancient theater, and has been constructed back in the 1st century of our era, and has been in use for a few hundred years, until Huns came and damaged it heavily. So the theater was only refound in 1970s due to a landslide, which is, quite an accident to happen. So after the archaeological excavation, it is in use again and can host the events of up to 5,000 people, making it one of the oldest venues in the world where nobody would book me for my stand-up concert. Moving on.
The second floor is like further than the first floor.
Yeah.
There's like these things.
Stands
this
up,
is the
sticks
most
out.
typical architecture of the houses. And then there's like this drawings normally, and the windows are normally looking like this as well. So like long with squares.
And that's how we came to the old town, where there were a lot of these asymmetrical 2-story houses, and some of them were museums, but others were also just normal residencies. But there was one thing that totally shocked me. You don't have the word noon? What? Okay. That's a weird painting, but okay. Well, little did I know that it was a self-portrait of Zlati Boyajiv, one of the most prominent painters of Bulgaria. And that house, where I saw that weird picture, is actually a permanent exhibition for his works. He used to live in Plovdiv for most of his life, depicting old town, nature, and life of people in the villages and some other secluded communities. His art is usually divided into periods, and you can actually see that when you visit the house. So one is actually when he worked in more neoclassical style. It was up until 1951, until he suffered a stroke. And after that he had to temporarily give up on the painting, but after partially recovering in a few years, he actually radically changed his style, and you'll notice that. So, it became more grotesque and expressive and probably more inventive. And to my personal taste, I started to feel that it's not some academic painting like it was at the very beginning, but that his work started to get more personality to them. And that's what I think really differentiates a great artist. Yeah, but did he envision somebody flying on a jet? It's that nice. What was this year? Like 70, 60, 65? Some traditional souvenirs. The Ethnographic Museum.
Yes. See the house is same version.
Yeah. Now she pretends she's playing guitar on a shovel. It looks a bit like, reminds me of Areopag Hill.
Yeah. So people are living there and they picked a good spot.
This place is called Nebet Tepe, and it has the ancient ruins of the citadel that used to guard the city. And now it gives also a wonderful overview of Plovdiv. Reminder to subscribe and click on that bell. I feel like after today I can be a professional wedding videographer. And of course, we walked already enough in the streets of Old Town, so finally we decided to make a stop in one of the houses to check out the interior. And our choice was Balabano's house. On the ground floor, there is a permanent exhibition of Bulgarian modern art that you can always have some pleasure looking at. However, I think most of the people are more interested in the actual preserved or more of a restored interior, because the house, originally built at the beginning of 19th century, was demolished in the 30s of 20th century. So we're actually looking at the restored version of the building. When entering the upper floor, we see a large glass saloon, and in the middle part of it, we are seeing the richly decorated wood-carved ceiling. And around it, there are actually 4 rooms. They all have their own different atmosphere and vibe that they're getting. So they all fitted with the antique furniture and other articles, so that we can actually see and feel how rich Plovdiv citizens lived back then.
So what do you think about Plovdiv?
Okay, Plovdiv, nice. Super city. Super gradina, is that what you say? Anyhow. I liked it as far as I can tell. There is a lot of interesting local stuff, which I think not really common to even Sofia, where we've been so far. So I really like it. It has its own vibe. It also has more ancient stuff and Roman remnants. I also really like the mosque, to be honest. Like, the mosque looks super cool. It was a really enjoyable trip, so thank you all. And it was the time for us to leave the old town and going through the more urban streets of modern Plovdiv. We made our way to Kapana. And you know, Kapana is like this little hipstery neighborhood, quite artsy as well, with a lot of nice cafes and restaurants and bars and pubs where you can enjoy wonderful food and having a great time. However, our trip wouldn't have been complete unless we visit the most shocking and important, one-of-a-kind landmark of Plovdiv: singing fountains. There's a concert upstairs. After getting frowned at for filming the performance, I have to make this rough cut to us driving the car into the sunset. It was the time to come back. So this was Plovdiv. I hope you liked the video and you enjoyed this little journey that I prepared for you. I hope that sometime you also will be able to pay a visit to the city, or if you have been, just put your opinion down in the comments. I would really interested to read more information about Plovdiv if you have anything more to share. And of course, give a like, dislike, subscribe, everything that you want to do. You're free to do whatever you can and want. Thanks very much, and bye.